Once in Wolmerandstad, that's where we're broadcasting from this morning. A little bit of a chilly morning, one could say here. I think everybody just standing around, hands in pockets, feeling very, very cold. I suppose winter is it's upon us, whether we like it or not. It's coming fast and furiously. Well, we continue on our election roadshow here on Morning Live, and we're going to all of the respective provinces, and the Northwest is now under our spotlight. This is our final broadcast from here before we move on to Gauteng. That's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. But one of the issues that we left off speaking about was that of the milk scenario. It was millions of rands was spent on milk for babies and for elderly people, and it was kept in storage for quite some time, to the point that it eventually had to all be thrown away and destroyed, and millions of rands were spent on destroying it. But I suppose that just opens up the next conversation, and that is the conversation of corruption within the province. Let me introduce my guests again to you, just in case you've just tuned into the program. From the Congress of the People, I've got Sipho Plaiki, who is the provincial chairperson. We've also got Paseka Moshwadiba, who is the Secretary General of the African People's Convention, and Noni Khabi, who is the ANC representative, but she's also the mayor in this particular municipality. Thank you again for staying on, and again, welcome to our debate. Mayor, a story like that is heartbreaking. What happened there?
Leon, the issues of milk, I would like you to maybe take it up with the health department, because actually this issue is not the municipality's issue. I thought when we started, we were talking Makwasi Hills.
Yeah.
Yes. I think I'll be able to can respond quite a bit if you're asking me issues based on Makwasi Hills municipality.
Okay, so you don't feel comfortable responding to this and talking about it. But I suppose if you don't want to talk about that issue, let's talk about other issues of corruption, because corruption exists everywhere within South Africa.
Exactly.
And I don't imagine
It's
your
fine.
municipality is immune. What are you doing to root out corruption?
You know, as the ANC government and the ANC as the movement, we are taking a new tune. As you know, that corruption is not only done in a separate manner. Corruption is done by, say, two people. And now as the ANC, we are saying to root out corruption that we are experiencing, because it is not only experienced in the government of the ANC, it is not only a sin in the people who belong to the ANC. This corruption is all over. Now we are saying, as government of the ANC, give us this 5 years, this coming 5-year term. And we are telling you that we are going to change how we've been dealing with corruption, because we've been dealing with one party only. Now we are saying we're going to deal with these two parties. When you come to my house and you sell me a television that you have stolen, you have done something wrong. And I'm doing something wrong by buying that television from you. These two parties are both at fault. This is how we are going to approach this corruption that we are dealing with, and this is which is a very serious challenge to our government going forward.
It certainly is, but the reality is we've given you 20 years to root out this corruption. So I'm not sure what difference these next 5 years are going to make. But that's not my question to you. That's my question to the opposition parties as well. APC, you haven't spoken in a while. You heard the mayor saying, give us another 5 years, we can do better. What are your perceptions? How do you feel? What is the APC offering?
You see, what leads to corruption, Leon, is the incapacity of state. Because wherein the state would bring in people with no skills to occupy high positions in government, that's where we would find corruption at its highest level. And as the APC, we, in order to curb corruption, we need to usher in a capable state with capable officials that will ensure that government, in performing its duties, it's agile and responsive, and with people with the necessary skills. And you see now we can't say give us like the ANC is saying that we need to give them another 5 years, wherein 20 years down the line, the same issue of corruption has been repeating itself.
Yeah.
You see, and we can't say no. You didn't do well on corruption for the past 20 years. Then we extend with another 5 years, and you see the absolute power that our people has given to the ANC. It's what led to this immense kind of corruption, because power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yes.
I'll add another absolutely in there for you. All right. Let's just get a final word from you from COPE. You've spoken about corruption. You brought up the whole issue. But what I want is this coalition. I want to talk about that because you didn't answer my question previously. Is it a possibility between the opposition parties?
There is a definite a possibility for cooperation between amongst the opposition party. That possibility is there. Ali, and I wanted to say, you know, the foundation is laid for us by the formation of the CD nationally, the coalition for the coalition for democracy nationally. So that it tells us that we are ready now. There is a possibility that we must actually unite to make sure that we save this country. And the other point that I wanted to make quickly, that South Africans have invested their vote for many years to the African National Congress, the ANC. But I would urge them now, Leanne, that they must change now. They have bet the wrong horse, now they must bet the right horse. They must bet Congress of the People, and then we'll deliver that vote. You see, corruption, Leanne, for the last point, corruption in the current government, it's a norm. And what is very bad is about people who are corrupt, they get rewarded. I will tell you an example. The mayor in Potchefstroom in Cloak, you know the problem is in Cloak. The mayor was extremely corrupt. He was accoladed with a higher position in the legislature. The other person who also stole this milk we're talking about, the baby's formula, he stole the milk, he was charged, he was dismissed in health, he was accoladed, the speaker of the municipality. You see, the problem with that is that ANC always reward these people who are doing these wrong things. So in COPE, we're going to build a civil servant that will be honest to the people and not loyal to the party, loyal to the people and service the people.
All right, okay, let's leave it there. We're going to have to leave it there, guys. Thank you for joining us. From the APC, COPE, and of course the ANC as well. I think we've given you all an opportunity to respond to this. But for those of you that don't know the story, I know that we're going to the headlines, but I think it's very important that you get background on the story of this formula. Basically, the Northwest procured 20,000 cases of milk formula. This was worth 7 million rand. This was almost using half of the HIV budget that the province has. Now, this was back in 2011, and it was destroyed this year in January because it was not used. And that is just, I think it's a sin. It really is. It expired between August and December 2013 because it did not reach its intended beneficiaries. And this is it's not a strange story, because our Health Minister, Aaron Motsoaledi, also revealed, and this was in 2012, that 6 provinces destroyed a total of 10.7 million rand worth of expired medicine between April 2011 and April 2012. So these are things we need to talk about, and perhaps the health department needs to come in from the respective provinces and answer these questions ahead of the elections. All right, I know we're running a little bit over, but I think that's also a big news story to add to the massive news stories that you're covering there in Joburg for us. Ayanda, let's get some headlines.